Greetings and felicitations.
Hip, hip, hurrah, tally-ho.
Hey, my little bunny.
Hey, Puddin'.
We're here with Lisa and Danielle from the Dragon Con Bunny Hutch, which has been a staple at the con for years now. Essentially, it's the first party of the con, and we look forward to going to this party every year. So, ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So, Lisa, we're going to start with you. How did the idea of the Bunny Hutch come to be?
Okay, well, the Bunny Hutch actually was not my original idea. It started out at Dragon Con as an informal event in 2009. And it was actually started by somebody named Sabrina Pandora and I think her wife, Wendy Goers. And they had the idea to what they wanted to cosplay something simple, I believe, on Thursday. And so they all met at Pulse Bar and dressed up as traditional Playboy bunnies. And then they met another Dragon Conner whose name's Stormy Odell. And when Sabrina moved to Texas, she sort of handed down this informal event to Stormy Odell, who kept it going and kept it as an informal meetup at the Pulse Bar, and it sort of gained a lot of bunnies. I didn't know either of them when I came in 2013, which was the year that I came in, and I just thought one of my friends, Onyx Love, told me, "Oh, there's a event on Thursday. People dress up like bunnies." I happen to know Doug Sneed. Now, Doug Sneed is an artist that had been doing the cartoons and Playboy since the 60s. And I'm a big person into comic arts, I've collected comic art pretty much my whole life. I'm into the artist community. So I thought, oh, wow, there's this Playboy event. It would be a way that we could honor Doug Sneed for all his work he's done in that industry for so long. And so he was overjoyed. And I created a contest and all of this. And I was trying to get a hold of like who started it. That's how I ended up meeting them, how I ended up meeting Stormy, who was the one that was currently doing the informal event. With the addition of the costume contest, which I created, and reasoning behind creating the costume contest also was I had always done formal Dragon Con contests. Like I won in the Masquerade and I won in some other contests, but they were like very structured and really like hard. Like everybody would join, but not everybody got something. Not everybody got something, which is why I do the print. Everybody that enters get a print. I have a print like commissioned by an artist that specifically so everybody gets something. And I try to have as many like categories as possible. I have categories for every fandom, whether that be sci-fi, video games, horror, to cover everything. We try to keep the contest not based on a gender, not based on a size, not based on an age, to get away away from that traditional idea of a costume contest. And the initial people that wanted to do the Bunny Hutch also were trying to honor something that was very traditional and had a traditional meaning behind it, but make that for everybody. Like that, when you put on that Bunny Hutch heifer costume, you become sexy and you become that in your own way. There's not a specific way to be that. And I think, our whole event and the whole contest is about that. And so anyways, the thing got out of control at Pulse. If you had been there by 2014, you would know that like the cops had to shut us down because the fire marshal said there was too many people. So then Danielle, my sister, Danielle Sharp, who's like mad good at PR and all the business stuff. Like she's the boss and all that, because that's like her regular job anyways. She got in contact with Dragon Con, and then Lee Cox, who's the costume track director, sponsored us, and that's how we became an official Dragon Con event. The event from there, since all the stuff comes out of pocket, but like I'm just really big on merch, even though it's free. I'm really big on promo and merch, and I think it comes from being in the artist like community for so long that like I started like really promoting and saying like there's stuff for everybody here, and I really wanted to make stuff, so it just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. And I think because it's so unconventional, it just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. And so I think it was 3 years ago was when me and Keith decided to start having swag and other things to raise charity, because I figured, hey, we're all partying and getting drunk here anyways. Why don't we do it for like a good cause? Because I know we're all here with positive intentions. So that's when we paired up with the Dragon Con charity and said like, we're going to raise money. And so then we started doing that, and that sort of gained momentum. And now my partner in that is Gogo Incognito, who's also our stage manager, and she's also the co-charity person. Like, there's just so many people involved in this, and like the way that it's grown, and people, I sort of see it like a barge that all these barnacles have like attached itself to, this like, you know, kind of put together party ship with tons of barnacles that keep like attaching each year. But I feel like it just becomes like more awesome, like that so many people are willing to like come together for like this. Like, the coolest thing this year is like the original girls that worked in the Playboy clubs. They have a convention once a year, and one of the chicks reached out to me. She was one of the original girls that worked in the Playboy clubs, and was like, well, we just wanted to say this is awesome that you keep this going in this modern way. And I mean, like, you saw our new logo has the gender, all genders are equal, like, thing on it. It's really cool. And she was like so happy. And I spent hours talking to her because we both love Playboy. We both love, of course, I knew Doug Sneed. I love the original Playboy image. Like I said, you can be sexy and confident no matter who you are in whatever way you want to represent. And she's actually sending me from all the original girls, all the original Playboy Club girls in their bunny suits from the shots from the 70s. She's going to send me signed photos for everybody in the contest. So, I mean, to me, that's just so cool, because it's like the original Playboy stuff is now meeting the modern version of that, like the modern embodiment of that, like, you know, all the old image and the new image, like combining together to make something beautiful, you know? I mean, I really do think what we're trying to do is make something beautiful. And also, it's another thing I understand. I've been going to Dragon Con for like 11, 12 years. I understand the magic of Dragon Con. I understand the magic of going there and just, you know, something happens where you're like, nowhere else would I feel this joy. Nowhere else would this kind of magic happen to me. You know, like your first 2 or 3 years, you knew that. So then you knew you had to be a part of that magic. You knew you had to be a part of making that magic for somebody else. And I can tell you, all the volunteers and all the barnacles that are attached to our ship are little barnacles that like to make magic for Dragon Con. So, and you know, there's just more and more of us. I mean, I know you guys. The minute I saw your picture, I know you've been Bunny Hutch attendees for years. So it's like, I know everybody that's coming. Like, I know them, and I'm so happy to see them every single year, because it's like they're here again, you know. So, I mean, even just our attendees, I know them. I know when they come back. I'm so excited that they did.
Lisa, we love creating our own bunny and hef costumes every year.
Absolutely. Now, Danielle, give us an idea. What was the feeling like when you saw this event growing and growing and growing, bigger and bigger every year?
Yeah, so I like order. I work in healthcare during the day, and Lisa's the creative vision and the passion and the desire, and I'm the facilitator. So the first year, once she had reached out to Sabrina and approached them about
Stormy.
Reached out to Stormy about, you know, like having Doug Sneed as a guest of honor and doing this contest in the Pulse Bar, which, as you know, has no furniture in it. They have pulled all the furniture out. Like, I immediately started thinking about logistics, like, how are we going to get tables? Where are people going to sit? Like, how are people going to enter the contest? Like, how are people going to, like, how are they going to hear us when we announce? So we had 2 years in the Pulse Bar, and it, from my perspective, was a little bit of organized chaos. Like, it all worked out and people had a great time, but like, the organizer in me was like, oh my God, this is the worst. I need order. So when Lisa, after that second year in the Pulse Bar, was like, I really want a ballroom for this, I want a designated space for this, I was like, oh, thank goodness. So I, reached out to the hotels and just kept emailing their events people, basically right after the con ended that year. And I didn't hear anything back, but I'm very persistent. And then finally, I ended up hearing back from the events manager, and they said, look, the con has these host hotels, the Marriott, the host hotels locked down like from Tuesday through Tuesday. So we can't rent you a room because the rooms are controlled by Dragon Con. But we can put you in the contact with Dragon Con to see if they would be willing to allocate you a room. And so luckily, the incredible Rachel Reeves, who is the co-chair of Dragon Con, reached out to me and talked to us a little bit about the event and what our goal was. And we shared, like how much we love Dragon Con and how we love the magic of it, and how so many people, like the fact that all the track directors, so many attendees are like panelists, like it's a labor of love. Like people are contributing, like for many people, like this is their only vacation all year and they're working their vacation. And the Bunny Hutch, for Lisa was absolutely a labor of love. She wanted to celebrate people. She wanted to empower people. She resonated with the original vision of Sabrina and Stormy. And so I just wanted to help make that happen. And so then every year, the event has its own unique challenges, and it kept growing and it kept growing. And we're a little bit unique in that even though we are an official Dragon Con event, we have always kind of had our own volunteers, and then Dragon Con, we coordinate with our track director around, what our vision is and what they will allow and how that fits within, the overall allocation for the year. But we've definitely had, years where we had a lot of learnings, especially like we had one year where there was like a really big explosion in attendance. And I'm sure you guys recall that Thursday was not an official night before.
That's
so
right. Yes.
So we were an official event, Dragon Con event, before Dragon Con was Thursday was an official day. And the first year where it really was some big problem solving is literally days before the event. They said, based off of your prior year attendance and based off of what we anticipate people are coming for the Bunny Hutch, we're going to make Thursday a day.
Yep.
And you need a badge. And so like 10 days before the event, we had to like communicate to everyone, you need to go pick up your badge before you come to the party. And if you don't have a badge, because we have the wonderful support of the local Atlanta, like burlesque and, expanded community from there, burlesque, drag, fetish community, like a lot of those people tend to also come to the event. And we're not the only Bunny Hutch anymore. Sabrina has kept a Bunny Hutch in Texas. Yep. And there's a Bunny Hutch at Frolicon.
Yep.
So it was definitely some creative problem solving to try to broadcast that message as widely as we could to people. Like, folks, you need a badge to get into this. And so it's just been every year we, try to put on the best show for everyone. And we learn from the year before. We take all the comments that we get back from people and try to improve. Not that we're going to be perfect, but we try to improve to create the best experience for people the following year.
I remember when the Bunny Hutch was being held at the Pulse Bar, and it was one of those times that I met, which is now my good friend Doug. And to me, that's one of the best things about the Bunny Hutch is that it attracts very unique people with unique personalities and also costuming skills and different styles and different genres. I mean, there's really nothing like it. I tried to describe it to other people. The idea of mashing up your fandom with Playboy bunnies. And that's one of the things that I really love about it is that I meet different elements of fandom that I don't see throughout the rest of the con necessarily. And I also have long-standing relationships because of some of the people that I met due to the Bunny Hutch. And I can't say it enough and how unique it is.
Yeah, I mean, initially, the reason why it grew initially, and I'm telling you, a lot of people were not happy with me for this. I literally blasted this all over social media like I was an infomercial. Like, I mean, people complained to me. They were like, Danielle would be like, do not post every 3 hours. I was literally like one of them wobbly guys trying to sell cars. And I did that for like 3 years. So that's why it got so huge. The 2 years I was at Paul's Bar, I'd be like, oh, first place now gets a diamond necklace. But I put that on like 10 Dragon Con pages and like do the wobbly thing, like, look over here. And like people, Danielle would be like, don't update, don't update, don't update. But I was like, and every one of my posts, everything was in caps. But I thought that would make it more visual until somebody told me that meant I was screaming at them. And I was like, oh, I guess that's good. Now they know I really want them to come. So I think that had something to do with it too. Just like constantly screaming and saying like, I have all this shit here. It's going to be fun. But, you know, I wanted to give them like a little, like, you know, a trail of cookies to come to the party. So yeah. But we are like the Bunny Hutch at Dragon Con. So we don't get like volunteer badges or anything. We do help at other Dragon Con events, but we don't get like free badges or anything. Like, we are self-funded, and it gives us we like it this way because we get a lot of freedom. Like, Dragon Con helps us out with a lot of stuff, but we have a lot more freedom. So we're able to give then our party goers and our contestants a lot of freedom. Like, I was able to say in one of the meetings, no, I'm keeping as many categories as I possibly want. I fund the prizes, so I'm keeping as many categories as I want, or I'm able to like chime in on what I want to keep, so I can actually give more, you know, to everybody, because we're not like so structured.
I love seeing all the creativity at the Bunny Hutch. All the great costumes. I know I've done a Bunny Hutch Wonder Woman and a Bunny Hutch Star Wars. So what are some of the most creative costumes you've seen there?
Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, okay, so because I designed, like, the contest I designed to be a mashup, and that really was to have a contest at Dragon Con where it wasn't just like one thing, because not everybody's necessarily, if you have a panel of judges, not everybody necessarily is a horror fan, but like at the Bunny Hutch, we have an award for best horror. Like, so, and then even our third place last year was the Demi Gorgons bunnies or whatever. Not last year, but the year before. So now it's really just all become about mashups. So like after all the years, man, there's really been some things like Christina Denise Bacon's costumes always get me, but that's because she makes her stuff out of whatever she finds. Like one year she was a shoo bunny, and she had made her entire bunny suit out of old leather shoes that she had taken apart and sewn into a bunny costume. And I was like, it was the craziest thing. I mean, it was crazy. And then one year she found like these discount spider webs at like, you know, a Michael's that were discounted for Halloween decorations. She looked up online, found out that in real bunny hutches in nature, there's a spider called the bunny hutch spider that lives in whatever, in unison or whatever with the bunnies, right? It helps, like, they're symbiotic, they have a symbiotic relationship. So she made herself into a bunny hutch spider, like with this used stuff. And then of course there's ones that you always think are very interesting, like how people, you know, translated something into a bunny suit. One of the ones this year that someone's already doing, I don't understand how they translated that type of thing. And especially if they pick a character that's like, maybe not like the traditional body type, maybe not the traditional anything, and they turn it into the bunny and half, it always, like, you know, surprises me. And then you just have stuff that knocks you off the wall. Like when we had a Futurama group that, like, the Dr. Zoidberg was crazy. I mean, we've had so many, like the girl that did the Hunger Games, Effie.
Yeah.
She was really great. Her hair was really great. I mean,
people are so creative, and we love that people really represent their fandoms.
Yes, absolutely.
And find whatever they're really passionate about, right, and translate that to the Bunny Hutch, because that's the most important thing about the Bunny Hutch, is about, it's a kick-off party. It is your opportunity to reconnect with friends, old and new, as you mentioned before. It's the friends that you make at these events, and returning year after year, and people, like groups forming together to make costumes together. Like, as Lisa said, there's so many incredible examples. super funny costumes.
Oh yeah,
like
super
the
funny ones.
Dr. Evil.
Oh yeah,
Hef,
with the mini me. Yeah, that was.
We've
good
had
one.
so many incredible horror costumes where
So
people
many.
couldn't even
sleigh bunnies.
Yeah, or like The Last of Us with the fungus completely covering their face.
That was great.
So many amazing costumes. Year after year, we just continue to be humbled and impressed by people's work and their willingness to enter the contest. But a lot of people just don't even enter the contest. They just make their costumes for themselves and want to celebrate with you guys, with the attendees, and get their pictures taken. We're bringing our step and repeat back this year, so you guys can get your photos taken in front of the step and repeat and have, your memories that you make at the party. It's too many to count.
You mentioned crossovers in fandom. Now, we're collectors. We collect vintage Playboy magazines, and we actually have them sectioned off based on our fandoms. So we have a Star Trek section where it has pictures of all the ladies that were featured in various Star Treks. We have a James Bond section. Again, ladies that were featured in James Bond movies. So there's various fandoms that are associated officially with James Bond magazine. And I think a party like this, it's like, duh, Dragon Con celebrates fandom. And Playboy is the perfect fit for crossing over into fandoms. So for those who are attending Dragon Con and would like to get involved with the Bunny Hutch, what would you recommend they do?
I would say if it's someone's first time at the party, make it really easy for yourself. Like, come to the party and see what it's like, whether that means costuming or not. Don't just come and see if it's your vibe. We try to broadcast that we, as a host, want to create an inclusive space. We care passionately about people having a good time, people feeling welcomed in whatever form of expression they are there to show, and that they feel sexy and celebrated by their other attendees. So my only advice would be like, just come and check it out. Yeah. And then like a lot of people who enter the contest will say like, hey, I heard about this from a friend and I was really blown away by the costumes. And, it really inspired me to make this costume. If someone's a costumer or like something about this just really sparks joy in their heart and they want a costume for the first year, join the contest. But we all know like just showing up for a party is a lot more relaxing and low key than putting a costume together, going to prejudging and having the butterflies of waiting for the announcements to hear whether or not you're going to win. So that would be my advice. Do you have different advice, Lisa?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm a big costumer. I was a costumer before I decided to make this contest. And honestly, I do think if you're going to enter a contest, our contest is the one to enter, because you don't have to walk the stage. You don't have to do a skit. You don't have to wait hours ahead of time. You have to go in front of the judges ahead, but anything else, even when you're waiting to be called up to see if you win or not, even if you don't win, you've been partying the whole time. You're at the party. So it is the most it's the most chill out of anything. But at the same time, like if it was me, I would go and check it out first. I would go check out the party first, see if I like it, see how it is, see the costumes. And I know a lot of people that entered the contest like a year after the first year that they came, because they were like, I didn't know how I was going to feel. Like I'm a bigger girl, or like I often don't dress as my, I often dress a different way, or I don't feel comfortable. And then when I went, man, I was comfortable right away. I saw how everybody else was and how happy everybody was. I'm definitely doing the contest next year. I just think I'm not trying to discourage anybody, but if you're already entering the contest, you want to be confident. You want to be confident. You want to know that you're there for that reason. You don't want to be scared. It's no big deal whether you're entering or not. You still want to be there. You still love being there. This is just an extra bonus that you want to go do. You want to, try your shot at it. And so I'd go with Danielle. I'd say just basically checking it out first would kind of make you realize there's no pressure behind the contest at all. So,
and the people who attend that party are amazing.
Yeah,
like you guys are amazing.
Yeah, right.
Well, we love attending the Bunny Hutch because of the positivity that comes from it, and the way the whole crowd just comes in and just enjoys the whole spirit of it. And we want to thank you for putting on this event and having us there.
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
And so this year, you have actual people who were with Playboy are going to be involved in the Bunny Hutch.
Yes, I was super excited because the woman that had just reached out to Danielle that they do this convention. They just had like the 50th anniversary of the Playboy clubs closed down, but like before that, there was Playboy clubs where girls were. That's where the actual bunny started. The Playboy bunny was not like a Playboy playmate. A Playboy bunny was the bunnies that worked at the Playboy clubs. So that's where Playboy bunnies actually came from. And there's actually a manual on how you're supposed to wear the suit and how you're supposed to serve in the suit. It's really cool. But these are the original ladies. And so like we actually got invited to the convention by them. So I'm probably going, because like you can't go unless you are one, but we got like an exception. I just love to talk to all those women, like the stories, So I got like, she had actually contacted Danielle just to say thanks. And I was like, oh, no. And I went and talked back and I showed her like some of my Doug Sneed sketches. And like, I used to collect Playboy since I was young. Like my dad got me for a subscription. And I've always loved it. I love some of the old bunny. I mean, I even love like Rhonda Shears, like just all that stuff. It all comes to like mind, and, so she was like, is there anything we can do for you? Because we ended up talking for a long time. She gave me her phone number and stuff. And then gave me a picture. She's like gorgeous. And then I said, well, we would love to have some autograph photos. And then she was like, well, of who? I was like, dude, of everybody. So she's going to send me like 20 photos of various actual bunnies that worked in the clubs in their headshot, their shot that was the promo for the clubs. And they're going to sign them. So I'm going to give those as part of the awards. I mean, to me, that's super special. I don't know.
It's essentially a piece of history.
Right. It is. It's a piece of history. So like she said, she'd send one extra one for me because that's going on my wall. But like, I just thought that was, so cool. And they're awesome. Like they're totally willing to like send me that stuff. And I hope the winners, because I always make sure that the prizes are amazing. I always make sure they're in link with the art community because I always want to send business over to like the artists. But also that they understand like what that actually means that they'll be holding.
And we notice that you get it. You totally understand the group of fans that you're serving.
I feel like I really appreciate that because you don't know how much I try to execute exactly that. Like I'm constantly trying to keep my ear to the ground so that I can make, so that people are happy and the space. I want the space to stay in the same kind of ideals and views that we all have, but also not like get lagged behind, but still be the I don't know, I'm losing it here, but like still be like the like the Playboy bunny's not bad. The Playboy bunny's a great thing, and it can still be like a great thing. And I love that we're able to have this party and literally just turn it into almost a magical thing, if that makes any sense. It's like it's a magical suit or magical robe that you put on and you become whatever you want to be, and everybody's whoever they want to be there. And
I met Leroy Neiman at a signing some years ago, and that's how he described his time working for Playboy. He viewed it as a magical time.
Oh my God, that's so awesome. Yeah. So then, yeah, that's how I always saw Playboy as magical when I was a kid. I know that sounds weird being like a little girl. My dad was cool and stuff. And it just seemed like magical to me. I don't know if it's like the way the women were lit or what it was, but it just did seem like magic. And like the mansion, that seems like magic to me too. And most of the women that were like, centerfolds, or even the clubs, even if I go back to the 60s, because my dad's favorite playmates were all like Barbie Benton, who's gorgeous, of course, but like there was always a certain like magic to those women and to the whole kind of thing, just there was something just different and like magical about it, and I think that the Bunny Hutch really still captures all of that. as example by the fact that original Playboy bunnies would actually contact us. So I guess we have gotten it because they contacted us. So, and I really think that, that follows what Sabrina Pandora wanted originally too. So, I mean, I hope that we're doing her proud. And Stormy still comes. Stormy O'Dell, who made it, kept the meetup going at the Pulse Bar. I hope that they're still happy with everything that we're doing. Stormy still comes each year. I don't know if she'll be coming this year, but I hope it keeps in mind of the ideals that they originally wanted to, because I was sort of an interloper in 2013 with the way I sort of overdo things and I sort of talk a little bit too much. So.
Thank you, ladies, for joining us in this discussion about the Bunny Hutch. We look forward to seeing you this year at Dragon Con and at future Bunny Hutches, because we know that it's part of the magical mythos of Dragon Con.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join our Facebook group. Live long, and may the force be with you. Nanu Nanu.